What is up, Nerdy Squad? We are officially back with a brand new video, and if you're new to my YouTube channel, make sure to hit that like button. Let's get this video to at least 10 likes. So, with that being said, let's get into the topic of this video, which is Rebel Moon. As you can see, the title here on what's on Netflix, Rebel Moon Director's Cut flop on Netflix, top 10, third movie seems unlikely. The rated R movies failed to chart, suggesting the franchise may be at a dead end. It may be time to call time on Rebel Moon. The rated R movies with extended runtimes have failed to capture a new audience, with Rebel Moon Chapter 1, Chalice of Blood, and Rebel Moon Chapter 2, Curse of Forgiveness, failing to chart in the global Netflix top 10s after early opening weekend. In the week of July 29th to August 4th, Saving Bikini Bottom, the Sandy Cheek movie, was the top spot with 12.8 million views for its opening 3 days, while The Marksman, a movie only available in 5 countries, rounded out the top 10 with 3.6 million views. That suggests that both R-rated movies had less than 3.6 views in their opening weekends, down from 23.9 million from the first movie in December and 21.4 million in April for part 2. As a reminder for the Netflix top 10 breaks down for the first and second PG-13 versions of movies. And as you can see right here, these are the numbers. Given the longer run times of these rated R cuts, it was always going to be harder for the two movies to feature in the top 10s, given that views are the number of hours watched divided by the runtime. But even not reaching 3.6 million is a damning indictment. Looking at Flix Patrol, which tracks the daily top 10s in most Netflix regions, they state that movies have been featured in the daily top 10s. Part 1 has been featured in 41 countries, top 10 so far. Perhaps because of that shorter runtime, Part 2 featured in 56 countries, albeit towards the lower end of the charts. Of course, many Snyder fans passionately argue online that Netflix effectively got 4 movies for the price of 2. But even looking from a bird's eye view, these numbers are a far cry away from Netflix's biggest movie hits of all time. What does all this mean? Well, despite Snyder having plans for up to 6 Rebel Moon films in total, Netflix's appetite, given the lukewarm numbers, may suggest the franchise now goes into stasis and heads in another direction. The marketing campaign for these rated R cuts was relatively muted compared to what's come before it. The first PG-13 cut of the movie in particular received a limited theatrical run, extensive marketing, and even a primetime release slot, a first for Netflix. Sorry about that, y'all. Reviews haven't exactly helped the two rated R cuts either, despite there not actually being very many of them. Screeners were difficult to get hold of, hence why our review only went online this morning. With only a handful of outlets and YouTubers ultimately granted an opportunity to watch ahead of last Friday, reviews have been trickling in, though, and critics still aren't keen, with the first movie clocking in with a 36 rating on Rotten Tomatoes. Wow. In our review posted this morning, we gave the two movies a 2 out of 5, concluding for the most loyal of Snyder fans only. Mere sci-fi action fans can wait for something more worthy of the bloated runtimes. Whew, alright, that is a mouthful to sit there and read. So, with that being said, I'm going to say this real quick. In my honest opinion, I don't plan on watching these two cuts just for the simple fact that I feel like Netflix should have gave us these in the first place. There was no reason for us to get these movies this late. What they should have did was hold off on these two movies, never gave us those watered down versions, and then gave us these when they felt the time was right, instead of deciding we're going to give you the watered down version first and then give you these movies second. And I really think Zack Snyder should try and find a way to cut down the movies by a lot, because these director's cuts are 3 hours long, and there's a lot of people who don't want to sit there for 3 hours and watch a movie. Only one I pretty much remember watching was his Justice League movie, and that was when I was really excited to see. These movies I was interested in watching, but at least the PG version. But I was not super excited to watch these. With Justice League, it was something completely different. So with these movies, it sucks, but there's not a lot of people who want to sit there for 3 hours and watch a movie like this. And I've seen some reviews, some have been good, some have been bad. It's basically been a mixed bag of reactions. But it's like Jay-Z said, women lie, men lie, numbers don't. And obviously the numbers are not lying when it comes to this movie. It's not, you know, getting the attention I think that Zack Snyder wanted. And again, this falls on Netflix lap. Had they decided we're gonna put out the two director's cuts instead of putting out those watered down films, I don't think this would be the case. And for me, since we've already seen how the first one ended and the second one ended, there's no reason for me to go back and watch these just because it adds some extra scenes and tells us a little bit more of backstory about the characters. Also, um, I feel like if we would have gotten the watered down version first, then they would have came out with the first extended cut. Maybe I would have watched it. But since I already watched the second one and then they dropped these, I feel like it's a waste of time to go back and try and watch them. This is not a knock on Zack Snyder. I like some of his projects, but these ones here are is what it is. So y'all do post your comments down below. Let me know what y'all think about this whole situation. Do you think the third movie is dead in the water? I will admit, if this does get a third movie, I will watch it just to see how it continues. Obviously, it's supposed to be 6 movies, so that's the only reason I will watch the third movie is to see how it continues. Really wasn't a big fan of the first two, but that's really all I got for this article read today. Again, y'all post your comments. You let me know what you all think. I'll catch y'all in my next video. 2,000 subscribers. Peace. I'm out.